Hello everybody and welcome to another reaction video on Peace Beats with Dan Blackwell. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already if you enjoy my videos. Today we are getting into Ren's Mackay. There has been a lot of requests for this over a very long period of time. I've been waiting for the right time to listen to this. I wanted to wait a while. I wanted to do it after I reacted to all 8 chapters. And a couple of weeks ago, we finished chapter 8. And I think that now is a good time to listen to Ren's only, as far as I know, instrumental piece. I don't really know anything about the composition of this, how it's composed. I believe it is about the friend he lost. So I'm intrigued to see how Ren kind of conveys his emotions through piano here, and like, yeah, let's just I guess I feel like I'm gonna see a different side to Ren musically in this video, and today's the day. So without further ado, let's jump into it and have a listen to Ren's Mackay. Wow. It's a powerful piece of music. That melody. Dun, 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 dun. So beautiful. So beautiful. I believe we were in the key of A minor, and we were in common time 4/4 with moments of free time. went on a real journey, didn't it? It was ever changing throughout the performance. It was kind of um, felt somewhat improvisational um, in a way, but like maybe a case of kind of when you sort of have some ideas and then bring them into an improvisation, so it comes together more as a solid song. I don't know if this was improv or written, you know, but it had a freedom to it that could have been, you know, deliberately if it was composed. Um, didn't know Ren could play piano like that. I mean, he's able to convey feeling in so many ways, isn't he? Because it was full of emotion, that performance. It was kind of, it was melancholic, but then it would go into these kind of hopeful runs building, these arpeggiated sections that kind of gave you a feeling of hope, of chance, that then returned to melancholy, you know. And I feel that he's kind of telling a story with this, and I don't know if he's kind of telling the story of the night of kind of, you know, sort of finding out about Callum Mackay, his friend, you know. I don't know. It's just really hard to say, and I don't want to cast any kind of uh, any sort of random ideas, you know, because it's such a personal kind of thing. Um, but it's a really it's a really beautiful piece, and as I say, that section, that part where he ended on there, that melody, chord melody, that part to me was really beautiful and really inspiring. I would love to do, I would honestly, as a musician, I would love to do an arrangement of this orchestrally and kind of play around with the form a bit and play with some of those melodies. Though I feel it would be potentially disrespectful to do a kind of arrangement like a cover of this song. I'm not sure. What do you guys think of that in the comments? You know, I certainly wouldn't want to do anything that was disrespectful, but speaking purely from a music point of view, from a musical perspective, there's there's a lot of interesting layers in there that I would love to kind of hear developed, um, staccato strings and pizzicato and brass rising up and woodwind sections, and just, you know what I mean, like taking this piece and kind of seeing how it could kind of be expanded and played with. But as I say, this is something very personal to Ren, this piece. I I definitely feel an inspiration from Einaudi, the incredible Italian pianist. I'm not sure if Ren's a fan of him or not, but I feel that he likely is. Though, and there was, it had a bit of an Einaudi feel to it in certain places in particular. Similar kind of emotional weight that Ren's writing and Einaudi's writing kind of both carry. Wow, it's a difficult one to react to in a way because it's so moving. It's left me a little um again, this happens sometimes when I do a reaction. I end up just trying to sort of pick my thoughts up off the floor and then arrange them, get them in my head and out my mouth, you know, in time. And then hope they make any semblance of sense. Where was this filmed? I would also love to know that, 'cause the landscape is absolutely beautiful. Incredible mountains. Yeah, I want to learn more about the story behind this piece, and and generally just what inspired him to write this as a piano instrumental? What kind of led to this? You know, because he's done songs as well, hasn't he? But he felt that something instrumental would carry weight in a different way, which I certainly think is true. I think when it comes to instrumental and vocal music, there's something about instrumental music that is somewhat immortal and evergreen. The way you speak, the way you articulate things, the way you lyricize as a poet, you can develop and change, and you know that can sort of be encapsulated in how you write a song, or if you were to write a poem or something like that. That's you at a time, with your thoughts at that time, explaining how you felt at that time. Whereas an instrumental piece, it's kind of like this. It's carved in stone. It's kind of it's there forever to be interpreted as pure feelings, pure emotion, rather than explained emotion. If that makes any sense. Instrumental. I believe that instrumental music can definitely carry a different kind of emotional weight to it in that sense, and it's eternal, isn't it? An instrumental piece, and so I do understand the need to write something instrumental rather than with lyrics, to get this out, you know, to get it out, and for it to kind of yeah. Sorry guys, I'm slightly lost for words on this one. It's one of those pieces that really kind of like keeps playing in your head after you listen to it. It's still kind of going around the journey. Really cool use of the pedal on and off as well throughout this song, like nice sustains, but then he had these more kind of short, sharp parts with the arpeggios that it helped kind of change the atmosphere and the pacing throughout the song quite a lot. And in typical Ren fashion, I mean, it has that ADHD quality to it, where nothing stays the same for very long at all, which is very, very standard of Ren's writing. I've come to sort of come to learn and notice now is that nothing goes around on a loop with Ren for very long at all. It's always, here's the melody, moving on. Here's a rhythm. Here's the beat. Change it. It's always on to the next thing. Always developing, changing, expanding, and growing. It's a very, very cool signature of a composer. You know, he has his own very unique style of writing, and it goes over very, very beautifully to instrumental music, clearly. So this was a real treat and a real different side to Ren's ability here that I've got to kind of experience and take in and process. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat and in the comments, and yeah, let me know how did this song make you feel, this instrumental piece, and do you kind of agree with anything I've said about the difference between instrumental music and lyrical music? Do you think that it would be of interest for me as a composer to do an arrangement of this, or do you think it would be in bad taste? A couple of discussions to be had around all these things here, so I'd love to carry them on in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me to listen to this today, and as I said at the beginning, if you enjoy my videos, hit subscribe. And if you'd like to make a request, I have a Buy Me a Coffee, and also have a membership for $5 a month with early access and exclusive videos. Yeah, really got me thinking, this one. Really got me feeling. It's a very, very, very beautiful piece. I'm going to listen to it a couple of times more now. Thanks again for joining me, guys. Take care. As always, peace and love.